Oh, hang on. I don't know if we're live. YouTube's decided to have a go. Yeah, I think we're live. I think we're going. There you go. Hi guys, and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is, of course, Cameron. Sorry about that little hiccup there. YouTube decided to just not want to play nice, as it sometimes does. Today, we are joined by Cornet again. You'll recognise Cornet from, well, you'll recognise his voice from last week's live stream. Last Friday, we spoke to him about his Everton journey all the way from South Africa. We managed to sort his camera out, we managed to sort the issues, and he joins us now in full form with his boss beard. To join us to talk about Everton. We're going to talk about Coulibaly today. Kalidou Coulibaly, obviously Napoli defender, 28 years old, and I want to talk about the rumours that have been linking him with a possible move to Everton Football Club. Obviously, he's said to have quite a good relationship with Carlo Ancelotti, worked under Carlo Ancelotti at Napoli, and there has been a few rumours in the papers recently as to linking him with a potential move to Everton Football Club, and we're going to talk about why that could or could not happen, and you know, realistically, whether Coulibaly would want that himself. We're also going to talk about the return of some Everton players, the likes of Richarlison, Bernard, Luca Dean, have all been given permission to travel back to England after they spent their lockdown or their quarantine weeks over in their home countries. I know Bernard was over in Brazil, and they have been given permission today to come back, and they will be flying back. And so we're going to talk about what that means for the potential restart of the Premier League. I can't see them coming back into the country unless there's some sort of plan in place for the Premier League to restart. Otherwise, why would they need to come back? And we're also going to talk about the media in general itself, and how they are treating Everton, and why there seems to be some form of agenda, in my opinion anyway, against our football club. So if you're watching live, get involved in the live comments. If you're enjoying, please do hit that like button as well. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. First of all, how you doing, mate? How's things? Week on from last week, obviously we last spoke. Anything changed? Anything new? What's going on?
What's up, man? I'm glad you can see me now. It's going well. Works tough. At least it keeps me busy. But yeah, no, it's I'm getting a bit frustrated though. I need to get out of here. I'm sick of this. I don't know if I can carry on for another month or another 2 months. It's getting the best out of me, but flip.
Yeah, I'm not
Well,
too
how are you
bad. I'm not
feeling,
too
mate?
bad, thanks. I'm the same, mate. It's frustrating, isn't it? And you know, we spoke earlier a little bit when we had a little bit of a Skype earlier on that. There may be, well, there is a meeting on Sunday to announce some form of change to the lockdown measures, whether it be a relaxation or whether there just be something to change. We don't know what that is. So, you know, it's frustrating, but I suppose we just have to look forward to Sunday and see what the Prime Minister has to say, and you know, whether there is a plan to ultimately come out of this. I take it there's been nothing on your end in terms of your government. It's just very much the same as it was last week.
Yeah, so they haven't given us any new updates. They were meant to brief us yesterday, but I think they skipped on that one. I think they were too scared of the backlash, because I feel like people are going to start protesting. Yeah, if they can't go back to work, all the small businesses are really suffering. So I don't know. He's going to have to make a change, because all the smokers are getting edgy. They need to get their cigarettes, because they they still can't smoke. There's no alcohol sales. People are getting a bit tense, but I don't know. Maybe in the next couple of days also we'll get an update. How's Boris doing?
Yeah,
Is he better?
he's
Is he
recovered, I
recovered?
believe. He's back in Parliament now. He's back, you know, he's back doing the meetings and stuff like that. So you know, he seems to have fully recovered again. I don't know. I haven't really kept as up to date on it as maybe I should have done. But you know, he's back working, so I'm assuming he has made a full recovery. So we'll just have to wait and see what he says on Sunday, and then go from there. So in regards to Coulibaly, I've seen there's a lot of people in the comments already before we've even mentioned them saying we won't get him, we can't afford them, don't be silly. I personally, for me, look, my opinion, I don't think Everton will sign Kalidou Coulibaly. And the name of this live stream, the title of this live stream is, are Everton really interested in Coulibaly? Would Everton be interested in going out and buying a central defender for upwards of 60-70 million pound at a time when everything's so tough, the economy's struggling, as Cornet said there, you know, the little business, small businesses are struggling. You know, we're still in this lockdown, we're still quarantining. Could any football club go out and splash 60, 70 million pound on a defender? I don't think so. Will Everton go out and spend 60, 70 million pound on a 28-year-old centre-half? I don't think so either, but there's been rumours in the paper, so it's important that we sit down and we talk about them. And I think that this is a little bit of a different rumour to any of the other ones that we are being linked with, because, you know, there's players that we're being linked with that you'd think, you know what, if we brought them in, that'd be a real good addition to our football club. If we brought Coulibaly in, that would be one of the biggest transfers Everton have made in my lifetime, because he is a fantastic centre-half and he is at the peak of his career. The transfer rumour originally comes from Calcio Mercato, who I believe in an Italian publication. It was put out yesterday, and they said that Everton are one of the sides most interested in signing Napoli defender Coulibaly this summer. It is believed he is not as keen on the move and could be holding out for a move to one of Europe's elite. And I actually, if I was to rank that rumour, if I was to say how I felt about that rumour, I'd say it's probably quite realistic for that to be the case. I don't think Coulibaly will be looking too much at Everton Football Club, because we're not in a European position. We're not in the Champions League, we're not in the Europa League, and like we said, you know, he's at that age now where his next move is probably his last big move before his career starts to tail off a little bit. He's 28 years old, he's in the peak of his career. Coulibaly will be linked with the likes of Chelsea, Tottenham, Man United, Man City even this summer. So what would attract them to Everton Football Club? Now, obviously, a lot of these rumours are made up and are brought to light because of Carlo Ancelotti and the whole feeling of, could Carlo Ancelotti have that pull-in effect? Could he bring these type of calibre of players into Everton Football Club? What do you feel on Coulibaly? Would you take him at Everton Football Club, and do you realistically think that he'd even bat an eyelid at the opportunity to come, or do you think there could be a relationship that strong with Ancelotti that he might think, you know what, I'll go there for the challenge?
I don't know. I don't know if a player is ever that strong with a manager that purely that will attract him to the club, because managers change often. So I don't know if he will realistically want to, or if he sees us. Obviously, we see Everton going places, but for him, I don't know if it's worth it for him. I don't know. I don't know what we can offer, what we're allowed to offer wages wise. So I don't know. I can see him going to a club like Tottenham, but I don't know. I don't know why. Maybe if Alderweireld or Vertonghen. I know Vertonghen might go, so I don't know. I can see him going to. Maybe, I don't know if that's a bigger step than us. I doubt it, but you won't get into the. Oh, you might. Man City will definitely get into, because they're struggling for centre backs. Yeah. Liverpool, could he partner Van Dijk, maybe? I don't know. Man United? Yeah. Anyway, they only have Harry Maguire, so they could do with another centre back. I feel like there'll be a lot of teams in for him. So, unless we can offer shit tons of money, which we probably, I think our highest earner is on 150k. So. We'll probably have to top that.
Double it, probably.
But I also don't feel like it's value for money.
Yeah.
If he's going to cost about 50 or 60 with his age. So, like I told you off camera, I know Gylfi Sigurdsson was bought quite late. He was decent in the first season. He was quite good last season, but he's already tangling off. I know he's obviously way better than Gylfi Sigurdsson, but I just don't know. I'm sure there's better value for money out there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I agree completely, and I think you made a fantastic point there. You know, we see Everton going places as fans, and when we're watching the football club, and, you know, because we've seen us go from a manager with no European experience and very little Premier League experience to, you know, one of the biggest, if not the biggest managers in world football. So we see the club going places, we see where the club want to be, we hear the club saying that we want to be fighting for the Champions League and fighting in the Premier League, etc. But Coulibaly won't know any of that. He won't, you know, he might have heard of Everton Football Club before, but he certainly won't know, you know, where we're going or where the aim is or where we're looking to be within the next 2 or 3 years, or about the new stadium, etc. The only reason he would learn about that is if somebody like Ancelotti picked up the phone and spoke to him. And like you said, you know, it's difficult to sort of fathom the relationship between players and fans, and whether players and managers, and whether the relationship is actually strong enough to convince a player to not go to a team that are currently in the Champions League or are currently fighting for league titles and come to a side like Everton who are very much in the transition period. It would take a lot of convincing for Coulibaly to think, you know what, I'll turn down a City or a United or a Tottenham to go to a side that are very much transitioning. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Carlo Ancelotti doesn't have that ability to convince him to do that, but I just feel like Coulibaly will look at his career himself and think, you know what, I'm 28 years old, this is my last big move. You're spot on about how much would we realistically be able to pay him. Our highest earners on £150,000 a week. Everton aren't going to be able to go and give somebody else a 200, 300 grand a week contract. It won't happen, and we're not going to go and spend 60, 70 million pounds as well. But I do think
and he doesn't have he doesn't have any resale value unless he has 2 good seasons with us and then we move on. But it's highly unlikely someone's going to move unless you're Ronaldo for more than 50 million in your 30s.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, it's like you said, it's one of them where we think.
But I'd love him.
Only lose money.
To be honest, I'd love him to come. My honest opinion, I think we all would, but we're obviously playing devil's advocate now.
Yeah. No, I agree.
With regards.
I agree. So in terms of central defender, then you obviously were being linked with Coulibaly, which I think we can all agree is a little bit of a step too far and almost one of those transfer rumours you look at and you think that's never going to happen. We've been linked with a couple of other centre halves over the last 2 or 3 weeks. We've been linked with Jean-Claude Todibo, Barcelona, currently on loan at Schalke. Obviously, we'll all have an opportunity to watch him within the next couple of weeks when the Bundesliga returns, and as well as Gabriel Magalhaes, or however you pronounce his last name. I've probably butchered that. He is currently at Lille in France, who obviously have just had their league cancelled. So them two, either of those players are obviously, probably a better fit to Everton at the moment in terms of the fact they cost a lot less money, they've won a lot less in wages, and they've got a lot more. They've either got a lot more years ahead of them, they've got a lot of potential, they're still very, very young, and ultimately, like you mentioned, they have a resale value. Do you know a lot about either of those players? Is there one of those particularly that you'd say, yeah, I'd love to bring him in one over the other? How do you feel about that? Ultimately, do you think we need a centre-half?
Honestly, yeah, I do feel Michael Keane has too many mistakes in him. Like you said last week, he's not a bad player. He has a good game every now and then, but I don't feel like you can rely on him to have a 7 out of 10 game every week. So I feel like Mason Holgate and Yerry Mina can stay as our 2 main. So I don't know if we can bring backup. Maybe Lewis Gibson. I don't know if he's ready yet to come in and play. But I do feel we need some cover. I've not heard of those 2 players. Obviously, I've heard the link. I've never heard of them. I've never watched them play. So can't really give my opinion on that. I don't know if there's... What about Ben Mee or James Tarkowski? I don't know if they can maybe fit a role. I know that Burnley tend to have quite good defenders, so it could be an option.
Definitely, and obviously we bought Michael Keane from Burnley, didn't we? I like Ben Mee, and I'd have probably arguably rather have had Ben Mee than Michael Keane when we first signed Michael Keane. It's difficult, isn't it? And I think in regards to the centre back position, we're talking about a year on from when we were left with 2 centre halves realistically in the squad. I said this last night. Don't know if you caught it when I was on with Jordan on the Toffee Blues. I said, we say we were left with 3 centre halves this season, but we weren't realistically, because at the start of this season, Mason Holgate wasn't really in the question, because he just spent a year out on loan at West Brom, and most Evertonians were either saying he can come in and play right back, or he's not good enough to come in and play centre-half in the Premier League. So realistically, at the start of this season, we were left with Yerry Mina and Michael Keane, which were obviously, it's never ever good to leave yourself with just 2 players in a position, especially when those players are playing week in, week out. So I think, if we are...
And then we let
Jagielka go.
Jagielka go.
Exactly,
so...
And then exactly. And then we failed to get Kurt Zuma in, and there was a lot of people on. Marcel Brands is back for that, and rightly so, because Marcel Brands at that point had left us with a young centre-half who had very little Premier League experience, and when he had played in the Premier League hadn't impressed in Mason Holgate at the time. And then you had two centre-halves in Michael Keane and Yerry Mina who weren't consistently brilliant anyway, but also had quite bad injury records at the time. Yerry Mina had been out for, I remember we signed Yerry Mina and he couldn't play for about 2 months because he was injured. Michael Keane had injuries as well in the past.
Yeah.
So,
What's up with us buying all these injured players? Gomez, Gabaman.
I don't know. I think it's just our luck. I think it's just our luck, mate. I think we just scout a good player, sign them, and then they get injured as soon as they walk through Finch Farm doors. I think it's typical Everton luck, isn't it, really?
The luck.
It is. It's our luck. But if we are to bring a centre-half in, I think I'd be definitely more interested in the likes of a Tadibo or, potentially a Gabriel. I think Gabriel would be a fantastic signing because he's got...
Yeah, he looks like he's composed.
Yeah, he's very highly thought of in the Brazilian setup. The Brazilian coaches and the Brazilian national setup tout him to be their number one centre half going forward. Thiago Silva-esque replacement. He's very strong. He's very big. He's very good in the air, and obviously he's he's been linked now for a long time. There's been strong rumours, some publications even stating that he may have signed a pre-contract, that he may have already had his medical. Now obviously all of that is very just sort of paper talk at the moment, but it's interesting to hear, and I think for the £25 million that he'd cost us, probably lower at this point. Obviously it would be ultimately worth more to the club than to go out and splash 60 million on a player that mightn't necessarily want to come anyway, and hasn't got any resale value. So I think it's interesting.
I agree. I feel as though we just need to get someone that has a bit of balls, and I feel like our centre halves are not nasty enough. I don't know about you, but we need to get like a Rio Ferdinand or someone that's in your face and basically shows the attackers that they're not standing back for anything. Like I know Mitrovic. Do you remember last season how he bullied our centre halves when we played Fulham? Like I don't know. We just need someone to stand their ground a bit. Mason Holgate has the attitude. He just doesn't have the physique to do it. But I feel like we just need someone who's a bit in your face, nasty. Like I don't know who's out there. Maybe.
No, I agree.
In that capacity.
I agree, and like you mentioned, Mason Holgate does have that attitude. He does have that sort of, again, I don't want to mix it up for arrogance. It's a confidence that when he steps on the pitch, he knows I'm the dog's bollocks here. I'm going out and I'm standing my ground. And I think he got a lot of that confidence from his year loan speller at West Brom. He was the Premier League player in the Championship. You've seen him a couple of times point at his name and look at players as if to say, who are you? And I don't mind that if Mason Holgate's coming on at Goodison Park and he's putting in a world-class performance every week like he has been doing since Carlo Ancelotti's come in. I don't mind him having that little bit of arrogance, and I actually think or that little bit of confidence, and I actually think that helps the other central defenders that we've got currently, because Michael Keane isn't a player that's going to strut himself about, and he doesn't play with confidence at the best of times, and Yerry Mina isn't really that type of character as well. But you're spot on, we need a character who is going to 2 minutes into the game, as soon as a ball comes over to their striker, put your foot into him, put your arm into his back, a little sneaky move to let him know you're there and to say you're not having an easy afternoon. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is fantastic at the other end of the pitch, is to giving defenders a hard afternoon, and to, making defenders work, making them run around, making them be physical, getting up, winning every header. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I say this, and I honestly do believe this, and a lot of people might laugh at me and you might disagree. I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin, if you ask most Premier League defenders and you listed all the strikers from the Premier League clubs, and you say to them, who would you least want to play against, I think a lot of them will pick Dominic Calvert-Lewin, because he's very physical, he gets up, he uses his body, he uses his pace, he gets himself about. Now obviously pure ability, they might say, I don't want to play against Aguero because if he turns me he's going to score, but in terms of physicality, no central
bullying.
Exactly.
Bullying. Yeah, he bullies.
Exactly, no central defender's having an easy game against Dominic Calvert-Lewin, because he gets himself about, he throws himself in the air, he puts his body on the line, and I agree completely, we need that in the centre of defence as well. We need somebody that within the first 2 minutes is going to knock the striker and say, listen, you're not having an easy afternoon here. If you go up, I'm going up. If you go past me, you're going on your ass. And, as that sort of confidence. It's true though, isn't it? You need that in the squad. If we've got central defenders who aren't world class, which they're not at the moment currently in terms of Keane and Mina, and haven't got that little bit of physicality or enough physicality, then we're going to get turned inside out far too many times for me. And I agree, we need that, that brick, sort of a little bit like Jagielka. Not saying we need an honourable centre half who has to slide tackle and elbow people and stuff. Somebody like a Jagielka, somebody like a Distan, who you wouldn't have an easy game against. He wouldn't necessarily hit you, but you wouldn't have an easy game against. And I do think we're lacking that at the moment. I think Mason's got a little.
I'm also sick. I'm also sick of our defenders doing this after we score every time and not getting. And not and not someone standing up and being like, "Fuck, get back there. Let's get back into the game." We always fall to bits, and we always tend to concede more than one. It's one goal, and then there's another goal. Okay, obviously a bit less now under Ancelotti, but there was always that turnover of a goal and then heads drop, another goal.
Exactly, and it's that, and again that comes with players, feeling the same way about the football club as I feel. There's nothing I like seeing more as to when Everton score and the players are diving on each other, they're getting involved with each other, they're in the crowd, they're jumping up, and that's why I spoke yesterday about the Premier League returning, and I said I don't want the Premier League to return if it's going to mean that footballers scoring and they have to walk back to the halfway line and not celebrate because they've got a distance, or they can't slide tackle, or they can't jump up for headers. I only want the Premier League to return. I understand that it's going to be behind closed doors anyway, but I only want the Premier League to return as to that when Dominic Calvert-Lewin scores a last-minute header, to win us a game of football, every player can gather around him and jump around him and get involved. But it's the same with centre-half. You want to see them angry, you want to see them frustrated, you want to see them, punching the floor if they can see the stupid mistake, because they know what they've done wrong there. They understand what they've done wrong, and they're frustrated about it. They've got that emotion, rather than them just going, whatever it is, what it is, and walking back. That's when you start to feel like, well, actually, how arsed are you? How arsed are you about this? My nephew's flying about there in the background, so he may pop in. I hope not. But yeah,
I agree. Maybe we just feel stronger about our football club than the players actually playing in it. But I can't say that 100%. But we have a lot of passion, and we want to see that in the players, and we don't always do that.
That's it, and
we don't always see it.
And it's listen, at the end of the day, you get your homegrown players who you see being frustrated at situations like that, and it's ultimately, it's very difficult, I think, for a footballer. Like the Coulibaly situation. Coulibaly owes Everton nothing.
Bye.
See you later. Go out. I'm doing something.
Bye.
See you later. Sorry about that. This is what happens when live, you see. We're live, we're in quarantine, people are in, people are out. But, like you said, it's difficult, isn't it? Because players like Coulibaly, they don't owe Everton anything, they haven't grown up being an Evertonian. So I can only assume it's difficult from a footballer's point of view to get that emotional connection, but you want to see that as a fan. You don't want to see players who just don't really seem that bothered when they're conceding goals, and because when we're scoring, they all seem like they're as emotionally involved as each other. So obviously that's really interesting. I think we all know we probably need a centre half to partner Mason Holgate with within the next year or so, and maybe
Gbamin. Maybe
Gbamin. I mean, again, Gbamin will be like a new sign. We've only seen him a couple of times. When he comes back and when he's fit, he'll be like a brand new sign, and it'll be interesting to see where Carlo Ancelotti sees Gbamin in the future, whether it be as a central midfielder, whether it be as a centre half. Listen, it'll be really, really interesting.
I hope he's boss. I really hope he's boss. He can save us some money.
Yeah, I agree. I really do. I hope he is that exact replacement for the Disagarnagay that we desperately need, let's be perfectly honest. If you're enjoying the team, by the way, so far, please hit that like button. It only takes a second. If you're new to the channel as well, don't forget to subscribe. You can find Cornet's Instagram in the description. Go over and give him a follow as well. Another thing I wanted to talk about is the Everton players returning to England. If you didn't know, it's been released in the Liverpool Echo today. I'll read the full statement out so I'm not misread. But Everton have said that a certain amount of players, I'll tell you exactly who it is, Everton players who left the country early into the league suspension are now returning to the UK. Richarlison, Bernard, Luca Dean and Cuco Martina were given permission to leave the UK and spend the lockdown abroad. So, Richarlison, Bernard,
Cuco Martina can stay abroad.
That's what someone said on the Twitter. Is there any point in bringing Cuco Martina back? But obviously the other three are quite essential. Certainly Richarlison and Luca Dean. So obviously Everton are now have given them permission ultimately to go out and spend their quarantine abroad. They're now coming back into the country. I think this pretty much, for me, states that the Premier League will be returning at some point within the next couple of weeks, if not month or so. I don't see why Everton would request the players come back, or the players come back off their own back, unless there was an absolute need to. Why would Richarlison come back to England? Why would Bernard come back to England unless they were coming back for a reason, and that reason is to do the job ultimately, and to earn their money and to play football. So, as soon as I read this, I thought, again, that's a little bit of a subtle sort of bit of information that makes me think, maybe the Premier League is going to return at some point within the next couple of weeks. Maybe we are going to see, Everton back. How do you feel about that? I don't know if you've read it. I don't know if this is your first time hearing it. Do you think it's one of them where you sort of think, maybe we are going to see the return of the Premier League a little bit sooner than we thought?
No, I saw it earlier today. I didn't know all the players involved, but I guess, like you said, it's a subtle indication that it's probably something is happening. Otherwise, there's no point in coming back. I don't know. Are they coming back to stay in? What do you think they're opening the training ground? How are things gonna work? It's not like they can, unless they announce it soon that it's gonna start. I don't know. When are they expected back?
That's it. And I think it's important to understand is that the Premier League won't come out in a meeting and say, right, okay, we're starting Premier League games again tomorrow. There will be a period of 2-3 weeks maybe where they say teams should be expected back in training by Monday, because the Premier League will start up again in 2 or 3 weeks. So the fact that these players, certainly, the likes of Richarlison, Bernard, Luca Dean, the fact that they're returning does say to me that Everton Football Club have been, whether it be briefed, whether it be told, they've been informed by somebody that it's likely that the players are going to need to return to training at some point within the next couple of weeks to prepare for the return of the Premier League. Now, again, we're in this in terms of in England, we're waiting to see what Boris Johnson has got to say on Sunday. But again, reading this today, knowing that there's going to be an announcement on Sunday, if we put two and two together, it says to me that the Premier League are going to look to inform teams to start training and to reopen the training grounds and to get players back in with the view to restarting the Premier League within the next couple of weeks. We know the Bundesliga is coming back next weekend, I believe it is.
So is that definite? The 15th
that's
of May?
Definite. Yeah, 15th of May. The government have given it the green light. Schalke versus Borussia Dortmund is on the Saturday, the 15th, which will be a good game. Obviously, good opportunity for us to look at John Joe Kenny and Tadibo as well.
Can you watch games? Can you watch the German games? We don't have access. We don't have access to
we can watch them on BT Sport. They're on BT Sport, so I'll be having a look at them. Definitely having a look at John Joe Kenny, seeing how he's progressing, having a look at some of the other young players in the German league as well, because there's some very, very, very good young players, and I'd like to have a little look at some of the games and then sit down maybe on a video next week and talk about some of the young players that I've watched and think, maybe we could go for this player from, I don't know, Mönchengladbach or Mainz, who might only cost us 15 million but is really, really talented.
Thorgan Hazard,
yeah. He's at Dortmund now, isn't he? Dortmund, yeah.
I see his market value skyrocketed in the last year or so. Apparently, he's quite good.
They've got a fantastic side. Dortmund, they really, really have. So yeah, I agree 100% with what you said. I can't see them bringing the players back for no reason whatsoever. I think if they were bringing them back, it would be for a reason, and for me, that reason is only because they'll be looking to come back to training and to return to work and to return to playing football. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes in the next couple of weeks or so, and what the announcement is on Sunday.
How do you feel the players are going to be when they come back? Do you feel it's going to be like a pre-season, the first few games? Because our first game back is the Merseyside derby, I don't know.
Think personally, I think the fixtures will be randomised again, because obviously they've announced that even when the football does come back, teams won't be playing at their home grounds. It'll be all neutral. It'll be all neutral venues. So you probably get Burnley versus Villa at Goodison Park, but you'd get Everton versus Liverpool at the London Stadium or something. It will be neutral venues. So I think that they're probably more than likely going to again randomise the fixtures. So I'm not too sure whether the Merseyside derby would be the first game back, but I think a lot of players are scared to come back, if I'm being honest. I think a lot of players are sceptical, and I think a lot of players are worried about coming back. You've already heard Sergio Aguero over the last 2 weeks say, you know, he doesn't want to come back, he's scared. Glenn Murray said he's not coming back. He said, I'm not doing it, I'm simply not doing it. So I think...
What will happen? Do you think they can force them not to, or not? They should take like unpaid.
I think
if
it
they
will
don't
probably just
play.
be a fine, to be honest with you. I think they'll probably say, look, we need you to come back. You know, the government have said you can come back, you're safe to do so. And I think if players refuse, it'll just be a fine of a week's wages or something. But it will be interesting to see if players do refuse. It'll be interesting also to see if one player refuses, how many does that trickle down on then? Is that a domino effect? You know, we might have, after the announcement, we might have 2 or 3 days where no player refuses, and then someone comes out and says, I'm not doing it, and then it's a domino effect, and a load of players say, well, actually, I don't feel safe doing it either. And at the end of the day...
Imagine everyone says that, then
Exactly.
They can't... Well, then they have to take pay cuts, but if they're willing to do that, no one can really do anything about it.
I've said over the last couple of weeks, imagine they brought Premier League football back and Richarlison, Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Mason Holgate said we're not coming back. That's our 3 best players. We wouldn't have a squad to put out. We wouldn't get anywhere against anyone. We'd get wiped off the park.
Nias. You think Nias will play?
We'd have bloody... You know, we'd have... Who knows? But... Yeah, we wouldn't have a strong squad. So, again, it's difficult, isn't it? And it's going to be interesting to see where that one leads. We're getting to the live comments.
And contracts.
Yeah, obviously. So contracts wise, you know, players are going to be out of contract come come the end of the month, end of June, I believe. So again, what happens there? Do the players that are out of contract, you know, are they given a contract renewal for a month or so, or are they given a full contract renewal, or you know, listen.
It's all up in the air.
Exactly. No one knows. No one knows, mate. No one knows. Eugene says foreign players return to the UK, like we said. Lupus says, come on, man, stop dreaming. You will never get Coulibaly. I know we probably won't, but it's been a rumour and it's worth talking about because it's been rumoured.
Must be a red.
Cole says we'll never get him. Eugene says, are you watching Everton versus Wimbledon, the Great Escape match tomorrow night? I don't know, mate. I'll have to see if I'm free. David says, no point, 29 and 60 million plus. Get Gabriel over the line. His potential is ridiculous. I agree. I'd actually rather have Gabriel. I think he's a better option, and I agree his potential is a lot obviously better than Coulibaly's will be because of the age difference. Cole says, I think United will get him potentially. Eugene says Everton interested in Højbjerg. We mentioned that one just a little bit before we went live. Would you be interested in Pierre Højbjerg from Southampton? Do you think he's a good player? Do you think he could improve Everton?
I wouldn't know. I don't know if he can improve, but I told you off air, I actually don't mind him. I've seen him play. Seems like he has a bit of that steel. He looks like a player that can hold his own, and I know he's captain of Southampton, so maybe he can come in and be our captain because we don't have any captains. But I don't know if he'll improve us, but he definitely won't take us down. So I guess he can probably hold his own.
I agree. I agree. I think he's a good player. I don't think he's that level of world-class quality that we need, but let's be honest, we're probably not going to get that this time. It's going to take a few years before Carlo Ancelotti can really start bringing in those world-class quality players that we need. I think he's a decent player. Again, it all depends on how much Southampton would want for him, the wage that he'd want, and how much we'd be willing to offer, I suppose. But I think he's a good player. Ethan and Wayne both say Todibo and Gabriel. Exactly. I think they're much better options, to be honest with you. Wayne says just sell Michael Keane. Don't care who we sign as long as we sell that donkey. There you go. Very honest. Very honest.
Shame. The bloke is suffering from mental health. Give him a break.
Well, listen. On his day, Michael Keane can be a fantastic player. He's just a confidence player, isn't he? And when he's not confident, he's not great. Ewan says, on this day in Everton history, May the 8th, Kendall appointed manager and had an incredible unbeaten streak. There you go. David says, Mbappe only has a season left on his contract. Carlo could tempt him, but the new stadium will be delayed 10 years. Yeah, Jesus Christ. It is wage, bloody hell. We wouldn't be getting a new stadium. Louis says, hey, everyone's doing. The accent is back. Cornet is back, of course. Wayne says, not really worth talking about this one, Cam. It's worth talking about because it's being rumoured. So, you know, any rumours are worth talking about. Wayne said that we had 8 likes with only 6 people watching, and it's the Cornet effect, he said. So you have to come on every week, mate, because you're smashing it for the channel here. Wayne says Alessio Romagnoli as well. Yes, another option. Eugene has said, do you think Everton will need to get rid of Theo Walcott in the summer? What do you think about that one?
Are you talking to me?
What?
Theo Walcott.
Theo Walcott, yeah.
I don't know. You could probably go to join Cenk Tosun at Crystal Palace,
yeah.
But if he's the type of bloke who'll probably, I don't know, retire at 32 and join Jermaine Jennison's studio to talk about his life as an Arsenal legend.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he's a good squad player, so I'd probably keep him around because we won't get much for him. So, and he's not bad to maybe come on as a impact player. I just don't know where he's lost his ability to score goals because he used to be able to do that a lot from wide angles. He just can't finish anymore.
He's lost his final ball and his final touch, but you know he's getting on now. And I think, like you said, I'm not too sure how much money we'd get from him. If somebody come in with 15 million, I'll probably sell him, but I don't think somebody will come in with 15 million. So
yeah,
it's
yeah, I can see him staying.
I agree. If you're enjoying the stream so far, please leave a like. It really, really does mean a massive amount to me. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. Lupus says, which Everton players would you keep and which would you totally sell? Put that one to you.
Ooh. Okay, the definite keeps. Ooh, Lucas Dean. Leighton Baines, give him another year. Mason Holgate. Andre Gomez, Bernard, Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin. Which am I missing? Anyone crucial now?
I don't think so. I don't know. Who would you sell?
Goodbye, because we haven't seen enough of him. Definite sell. Yes, there's too many. Our squad is so big. Nias, but he's out of contract. Velassi, yeah, I think he might have another year. Tom Davies I'd send out on loan, hopefully to Germany or somewhere. Theo Walcott, squad player. Sigurdsson, I like Sigurdsson, but I just don't understand where he's lost. He doesn't influence a game. He can score from far and he has these worldies, but he doesn't. No. He's not fast. So if he loses his legs, I don't know. He's supposed to be giving assists, and I think he's gotten 1 or 2 this season. So I'm on the edge with him, but I'd probably sell him if we could get decent money. Yerry Mina, I'm on the fence with him because I feel like he's good, but I think we can do better. Jordan Pickford's attitude irritates me. He thinks he's too good. He's like, do you watch cricket?
I know
Ben
of him.
Stokes. Well, he thinks he's Ben Stokes, but he doesn't have the ability of Ben Stokes.
Fair enough.
So, I don't know. So, I'd probably maybe sell him if we could get like 50 million for him. And then bring in a decent keeper. But, yeah, those are probably my
fair enough.
My picks.
Fair enough. Where are we then in the live comments? Wayne says, main problems with signing Todibo is we need a left-sided, but I'd take him if we can't sign Gabriel. And let's not sign any Napoli players so they can fund this transfer. Alex Merritt, only one we should sign. Fair enough. Ian says, no fans, no contact, no point. I agree. Lupus says, why would you not try to get Dries Mertens? He'll be a free agent. Would you try and get Mertens?
I like Mertens. I feel like he's quite a decent player, and I remember he plays. He smashes it for Belgium. So I don't watch any of the Italian leagues. So I haven't seen him, but I'm sure he does well. Do you know his stats? If he scores a lot of goals and
I don't know exactly, but I
assists?
know he's a good player. He is a good player, and he's a player that would be able to massively influence Everton, and there's no doubt about it, his talent would be desperately needed at the football club. Obviously, he's a free agent, so he wouldn't cost us anything transfer fee-wise, wages-wise.
But he's Belgium. He's Belgium. So if he goes out to the national team, he'll probably say something bad about
That tends to what's
Everton.
happened in the past, hasn't it? I think wages-wise, he'd probably want £200,000 a week or something silly, and I don't. Yeah, and I don't think he'd particularly want to come to Everton either. To be honest with you, I can't see him being interested. But I suppose we'll have to wait and see. You could always try, couldn't you? Could always try. Where are we then? Wayne says quiet. Jess says thanks. Are you okay? Cal says we need to buy smartly. People like Tyrone Mings, Max Aarons, and one big sign. And let's be honest, why would we want Oder or and Lozano? They're awful in Italy and they'd be awful in England. I think with Mings and Max Aarons, they're going to cost a lot of money, aren't they? We're not going to be able to sign those players for cheap, especially Max Aarons. He's going to cost £50 million now because of the season that he's had. And with Tyrone Mings as well, very, very similar. So, you know, it's difficult, isn't it, with bringing in players from the Premier League, certainly.
I think we need three very good players. I honestly think we need a playmaker, someone as a number 10 to control the midfield. We need a proper centre back, because let's be honest, we need to be confident that we don't need to outscore the opponents, because we've never been able to score that many goals. We need to make sure our defense is solid so that we can obviously grab the 1-0s and make sure that one goal might be good enough, because at the moment, like, we're leaking too many goals. Like Chelsea, yes, that Chelsea game was dreadful. So yeah, our defense needs some. I feel playmaker, number 10, centre back. Depending on how Gabaman, we're hoping he's good, but then I'd keep him there maybe, and then a right winger. So, what is your thoughts? What would you like? What's your very first signing? What should it be?
I think we need a creative midfielder. I think we need somebody that we probably assumed Gylfi Sigurdsson was, a player that could come in, create opportunities like a Mikel Arteta back in the day. Could pick the ball up, spray a pass, score himself, assist, just an all-round creative midfield player that sits in the centre of the midfield and can do everything going forward. Somebody like a David Silva-esque player for Man City. Like I said, Arteta when he was at Everton, we just haven't got anybody like that at the club. I then think a right back is probably the next player that we need to look at. Priority. And then right winger as well. I probably agree. I think right winger is one that we should be looking at, to be honest with you, because Theo Walcott isn't good enough to be playing week in, week out in the Premier League.
And if you could sign any creative midfielder, who would it be?
Ooh.
No, anyone that we can
Does Jack
realistically, but not maybe.
Does Jack Grealish fall under that?
Who would you? Yeah, Jack Grealish, I feel fall under that.
Grealish.
But he's a bad attitude, and I'm scared he's fucks about like Moise Keane or Ademola Lookman. Obviously, they're a bit different because he's like the main player. But I don't know, attitude's not everything, but he's talented.
He is, and I agree. And his attitude, he would need to be sat down and spoken to about that, and making sure that he matures and that he grows up a little bit. But I just think in terms of all-round creative player, I think he's got the lot. He's young as well. He's got leadership qualities, obviously leading Villa. I really like him. Speaking of Moise Keane, Rachel says, what are your thoughts on Moise Keane? think everybody knows my thoughts on him. We've done a video. How do you feel about Moise Kean?
I like him. You can just from like I know he's maybe not up to speed or he's not fit, but when you see him on the ball, he really looks like he's talented and he can actually beat the man. I think he just needs playing time. I honestly feel like we should have given him more playing time. Marco Silva signed him, but I think gave him like 20, 15 minutes at the end of each game. And you can't really he needs a sustained period in the first team. I know it's hard with Calvert-Lewin doing well, but I don't know. I actually do like him. I think he will be quality, and could be the next Lukaku, hopefully. So I wouldn't sell him. I would not sell him yet. I feel like we're gonna regret it. We haven't regretted Lookman, but I feel like we'll regret.
I'm exactly the same as you, mate. I'm exactly the same as you. Abigail says, I'd take a chance on Sangare. He's a great, young, quick, strong and great on the ball, but Gbamin in the defence is really good there. Put Adiran in for the rest of the season. It'd be interesting to see, like we said, where Gbamin will fit in. I do like Sangare as well. Possibly that replacement for the Disagana Gay that we've needed. But again, we'd have to wait and see how Gbamin fits into the squad and how well he plays when he comes back. One last thing I wanted to talk about then before we go back into the live comments and then ultimately finish up. The media and how the media treat Everton and how the media almost seem to have this agenda, some would say, against Everton Football Club. Obviously from somebody that is the local newspaper doesn't necessarily treat the football club in the best vein. How do you feel about the media and the way the media sort of portray Everton and their players compared to other clubs?
Yo, mate, I don't know about you, but I get so irritated watching all these channels. I don't know who pissed in someone's pot, but why always we always the target, and I feel like we give them a lot of fuel to which we should not be doing, because whenever they talk about a player or a manager that's coming to us, they always speak of, for us they're the next big thing, and in their eyes there's something wrong with them, or they trouble. So I don't know why every time I watch a program they'll find a way to just shit on Everton's chances and anything, even before the season started. I know, like I said, we don't always we give them the fuel, because I don't know about you, but I thought this season we'd push for top 6, and then they wouldn't even have Gary Neville, and I actually don't mind Jamie Carragher. He doesn't actually speak that badly of us, but whenever they spoke of top 6 chances, I think they threw in Wolves, Leicester, and they never speak of us. They never give us a chance. Like I told you, whenever we linked with a big player, they'll shrug it off because apparently we're never in the running. When our manager is coming, when we linked with a manager, they'll find a way of saying that manager is on the downward, or he'll definitely not come to Everton. When we link with a player, they'll find a... So I don't know what it is, but I'm glad we feel the same way, because it's something... Jermaine Jenas has nothing good
Danny
to
Murphy
say about us. He's
Danny
an
Murphy as well. Never says a good word about Everton.
Danny Murphy... do you watch that shitty show,
No,
ESPN UK? Do you know Craig Burnley?
I've heard of him, I don't know him.
And Stevie Nicol.
Yeah.
He played for Liverpool back in the day. What are assholes. They've never have a good thing ever to say about Everton. Exactly. It irritates the shit out of me. I don't know what we did.
Exactly, and that's it. And the media have always had this thing against Everton, where you'd have to look back at the game against Manchester United a few weeks ago, and the fact that Gylfi Sigurdsson was put on his arse in the last 2 seconds, and that was the reason why he was lying on the floor, and he didn't even mention it.
Yes, yeah, I know, and whenever there's refereeing decisions that they review afterwards, who's that guy who always speaks like 2 days later about all the incidents, or that No. The referee, he's like head of the referee. He always does the analysis
I'm
on
not too sure.
referees.
Someone will know in the
Uh,
live comments.
that bald
Howard
guy.
Webb.
He was. Yeah.
Howard Webb.
Eh? Not hardware. No, but whatever. So he, like, they'll find a way. It's clear
Yeah.
handball or it's clear push, and they'll find a way of saying, no,
Yeah.
it wasn't a penalty or it was the correct decision. And it tends to maybe we just look through blue
Glasses.
tinted
No.
glasses, but it just feels like it's
Yeah.
the world's
I
always
agree.
against
I
us.
agree. Spot on.
Eh?
Spot on. Couldn't agree more, mate. And I think it's something that a lot of Evertonians feel and that a lot of Evertonians sort of have felt for a long, long time. David says there won't be many transfers this summer. The income has dropped so much that many teams are in trouble. The Red Shite are losing almost 8 million per week. There you go. And Abigail says Mertens is great, can play anywhere in the midfield and a striker. I'd get him alongside on a free from Nice. I'd go inside and get Pedro or Silva on a free as they are leaders. I'd love David Silva. I'd absolutely love him. David says Martin Atkinson. Yeah, Martin.
Yeah.
No,
It's not Martin
Dermot
Atkinson.
Gallagher.
It's
Ian said Dermot
Yeah,
Gallagher.
Dermot
that's
Gallagher.
him.
Dermot Gallagher.
Absolute fools. Anyway, that is going to do it for today's live stream. If you have enjoyed, please do hit that like button. It only takes a second. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe as well. Massive thanks to Cornet for coming on once again to talk to us about Everton. I'm sure he'll be on within the next week or so. Well, he definitely will be on as long as he's up for it. He'll be back on the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. You can follow Cornet on Instagram in the description down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed as well. Rachel says, what does everyone think we should do about Gylfi? I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know. On the last, what do you think we should do about Gylfi? Depends on what offer, I suppose.
Yeah, I said earlier, I'm on the fence because I actually like Gylfi, and I know what he can do, and he can produce brilliance, but he seldom does that nowadays. So it's a difficult one. I don't know if you can. Moving him into midfield, he's not a great defender, so I don't know. Moving him deeper into midfield is not going to solve much. We saw in the first season when he was out on the wing, he also wasn't used. So the best position is probably building the team around him as a main number 10, because that's his most attacking position and where he scores the most goals. But then again, he doesn't beat players, or he doesn't have a great pass. All he has is a great long shot. So it's difficult.
It's difficult. And I think again it depends. If a team comes in 15-20 million for Gylfi, then maybe we'll look to settle him. If not, then we may look to get a team another season out of him. Carl says, can you read my comment about Carlo Camp? I can't see it, mate. I don't know where it is. I've just had a little look back and I can't seem to find it. If you bash it in now before we go, we'll read it out and we'll find another one to talk about in the meantime.
Cam, does your girlfriend run your YouTube channel?
She does the social medias. I'm sure a lot of people will know. It's Jess in the live comments. She does some of the Twitters and the Instagrams as well. She works dead hard on it, to be fair to her. So give Jess as much praise as you do to me. She's usually tweeting stuff out and Instagram and stuff. I'm not really a big Instagrammer. So I just say to Jess, do us a favour, will you put this on Instagram with a caption, and there you go. And she does it. So fair play to
That's good.
We've got a good business relationship as well as a good personal relationship, that's for sure. Carlos said Don Carlo will make the other 19 managers call him daddy. Well, who knows? We'll have to wait and see. A little bit kinky, that one, but anyway, that's going to do it for today's video. If you have enjoyed, please do hit the like button. Big thanks to everyone in the live comments. Loads of comments today, so massive thanks for getting involved. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. If you're watching as a YouTube video, leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Big thanks to Cornet for coming on once again. Got anything to say before we go?
No, thanks for having me, man. Always a pleasure.
I'll be back next, but Cornet will be back definitely within the next couple of weeks. I'll be back on Monday, of course. Carl, do you guys think Everton will get top 7 next season? Just yes. I'm just going to say yes. Yeah. There you go. There you go. 4. Smashed it. Big thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues.